So one of the stories we read about was an atheist, and I think maybe Mariam can establish the story properly. An atheist married, and another girl, they fell in love. The two of them were together. They were lovers for some time. At some point, the girl traveled to the U.S. The couple traveled.
So they got married.
Okay.
So the man is an atheist, the woman irreligious, and they had, fairly same values. And they got married, had 2 kids. Eventually, something happened. She had to go back home to America. She was away for 6 months. When she came back, he noticed she had changed. She started praying in the house. And eventually, she now wanted to have the kids involved in church. And that was where he drew the line. Went to court, to get a divorce. And he was so afraid that if she got the kids, he would never see his children again. Because now they had clearly very separate set of values. So the fear is... you start out with someone that you're so in love with. You think
so that's the story. I mean, that's we don't like to reference too many people's stories. We like to just take the learnings from it. So we're thinking, 2 people fall in love, 2 regular guys. You met at the club, drinking, having a ball. 2 of you fall in love together, and one by Jesus. After you got to married and you're together, one now is gang by Jesus. One became a Sunnah Muslim and with covering and everything. And you're thinking, okay. Do we draw the line? I won't start with you. Let me start with the other ladies.
The only constant thing in life is change. And the earlier we begin to tell ourselves the truth, that the change can go either ways, the better for us. So as you're falling in love, just have it at the back of your mind that anything can happen tomorrow. A change may come tomorrow. How do I deal with it? I also believe that these are some of the conversations you can start having. Don't always assume that I met you this way, you're going to be like that for the rest of your life. If something happens along the line and our values no longer align, how do we deal with it? How do we part ways? What are some of the things that you would do? Or how would you try to get me on your side? Is it even okay for you to try to force me to be on your side? Or can we still live as friends while we have our different values? Those are the conversations we need to begin to have in the process of dating, because anything can happen.
Many people can walk through a lot of things, but when it now affects your core values, you would sit down and think twice about it. Like, is this something I would like to go ahead with? Marriage, as we know it, is supposed to be a union of 2 people. They're supposed to be one, the way we're told. They're supposed to be one, think alike, want the same thing, have the same vision for their lives. And then there's someone that wants to do it differently. It would require people sitting down and deciding if this is the end. And so in his own case, I guess for them, they felt that being religious and not believing in religion, that was something that he could not work with. Now, we said something about having children involved. I'm just hoping that the system allows for, co-parenting, and then the child is able to decide for themselves eventually when they grow up what they want. But really, when your core values, if you feel like your core values are compromised, you would not want to continue with that. So it's okay for that person to sit down and say to you, this is not what I asked for. And you would decide, compromise, or he moves.
As I'm trying really hard to retain my identity of who I am, or who I've come to be in marriage, and that is important for me, who I've come to be. I choose to maintain that. However, subconsciously, there's that inner part of me that I always crave to do other things that I used to love, even before I came into this new identity as this person. So my question is going deeper now, that is it wrong for me to crave that who I used to be?
Why did you marry somebody without letting them see your full self the way you were?
You see my full self.
So that's what I'm saying.
We see our full self, but it's
full self
in the beginning.
I may have not been aware, yes.
Part of the time, at what point are we encouraging people to get married when they haven't found themselves?
Good. That's why we always...
You understand?
You don't know the time frame to find yourself.
That's why a marriage must not be a place where you cannot find you. In your home, for example, think about your family. Your family is there for every iteration of you.
Yes.
iPhone 4, iPhone 13. Me that like iPhone, I'm with iPhone at iPhone 4 and iPhone 13. When it becomes iPhone 20, I will still be with it. Because at the core, I like what it is. If you are going into a marriage with a person who is not happy with he himself is also evolving.
We're all evolving. So yes, but that's life.
So we're always making allowance for others. We don't expect them to make allowance for us.
The problem is this. It is what the society puts on women all the time. If you're not a woman if you don't have a husband. That's number one. No?
Yeah.
And I don't agree with that. If you find a husband that you love or loves you and you can grow together, fine. But it is not the be-all and end-all of your life. And I think once we know that, you know, me, I'm okay.
Yeah. But you see, but there's a point.
Relationship,
yeah.
If we don't marry, I will not remove anything from my body. As far as I'm concerned, we are even married spiritually. Yeah. When people ask me, I'm married spiritually. Yeah. I don't have to be married in the registry. Somebody will come and sign on my head.
You know, the way that everyone is talking here right now, there are people who are listening and thinking these are rebels. There is a code of conduct that is given to a man or a woman. These are the things you should want. If you want anything outside of that, if you do not want marriage, how dare you? Something is wrong with you.
All I'm going to say is I'm interested in the core of things, why things are the way that they are. I mean, I look at YK, for example. I think, you know, she's calm. There's a calmness about her that comes from lack of fear. I think one of the things to be really careful about is fear. And a lot of people here talk about God, but they don't believe in God. Do you understand? God is abundance. God is the fact that it never runs out. As you are breathing now, are you worried about your next breath? You're not worried about it. Nope. Because that is the idea of God. It's always there. You cannot run out of men. You cannot run out of options. There are infinite possibilities in the universe. One of the things they teach people very early is to be afraid. And to cement that fear, sometimes they will deliberately try and cut you down. But you see, once again, there are infinite possibilities in the universe. There are many, 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 many men. There are many, 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 many women. And even when we talk about this, sometimes when we are saying we're trying to help women, we also help to trap women further. We talk about these things as if men don't have similar issues. I've also read of men who say, I'm evolving, she's not evolving with me. I'm tired. Absolutely. So let us treat each other as human beings first and foremost. All right.